YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with some more NFL content. We're finally here. I've been hyping these up for a while now. We're finally here. Other videos pushed this one back, but we're going to start doing our top 10 position ranking videos. We're starting with the quarterbacks, and you guys are involved too. We have polls on our Twitter, so go to our Twitter, Frogs_Angels. You guys did vote for the quarterbacks. We'll reveal who you guys voted for best quarterback in the NFL for 2018 in a second here. But our goal is 10K subscribers, so please help us get there. If you already subscribed, it's much appreciated. Again, follow our Twitter. All the links in the description. Not only do we have my top 10 quarterback rankings in this video, we have Danny Provolone's top 10 as well. So two different perspectives. I want to see your guys' top 10 in the comments below. So who did you guys vote for? If you follow us on Twitter, you already saw who's leading the vote, really. But the winner was Aaron Rodgers. Fan voted #1 quarterback, Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers, despite the injury from last year and when expecting him back in full form. And that makes sense. It makes sense to me. We'll see if he's mine or Danny's #1 QB. We're going to start with mine, go one by one, 10-1, and then we'll go over Danny's. So stay tuned for all that. Here we go. Number 10, quarterback for 2018. It's very tough. Deciding between two guys. Could have been more than that, really could have been considered. But number 10, I went with Kirk Cousins. Now, he was borderline here before, and now that he's on the Vikings, he's got, I think, much better targets. I think you look at Thielen, Diggs, Dalvin Cook at running back. They got a new offense coordinator, DeFlippo from the Eagles. I expect him to be better, and he was already, in my opinion, borderline 10. We can discuss who just missed the cut, who I was deciding between here at 10 after the video because I don't want to give anything away here. Number 9 is going to be Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, this actually might be low. This might be surprising. Most people might have him high. I mean, obviously, Hall of Fame quarterback, great quarterback, still playing pretty good, but he's definitely on the decline, and it's shown the last few years. A lot of off-target throws, good amount of interceptions, but I don't want to say he's not good because maybe it sounds like I'm trying to say that, but I just don't want to put him any higher than 9. It was pretty close, that 8-9 range. But if you look at a quarterback's weapons, I think he has the best in the league. So he should be doing, I mean, he's aging though, so you understand why, but he could play at a higher level. He could play at a higher level, honestly, with the targets he has, but it's because he's aging. It makes sense he's on decline. But I put him at 9. So on to number 8, Phillip Rivers of the Chargers. Now, it's pretty close between him and Big Ben. I think Phillip Rivers is playing. Obviously, they came out of the same draft class. Looking at career, Big Ben better career. But right now, I think Phillip Rivers is playing pretty similar right now than he has pretty much in his prime. So that's why I put Phillip Rivers at 8. I expect big things from the Chargers this year. They just can't start off poorly like they usually do. At number 7, I got Cam Newton. Now, I wanted to put Cam Newton higher. I've always been a big Cam supporter. Liked him coming out of the draft a lot. And obviously, he was an MVP just a few years ago. Was in the Super Bowl just a few years ago. So the Panthers can go either way. You know, they can have a down year. They can have up year. They look like they have a pretty good team. They have Cam Newton, former MVP. So I like Cam. I like his ability to win games, running the ball as well. He finally is getting some weapons. They get DJ Moore in there, Christian McCaffrey in his second year. So he could be higher than 7 at the end of the year. You know, I think very highly of Cam, so I wanted to put him higher, but based off last year and the young guys that are coming up, I kept him at 7 for now, but it could be higher at the end of this year because they're starting to get him some more weapons. At number 6, it was very close, 6 and 7. I went with Carson Wentz. Now, he had an MVP-type season until he got hurt. He was the reason they got the 1 seed, which pretty much got them into the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. So a lot of credit to Nick Foles, too. Nick Foles honestly could have came close to making this list. But Carson Wentz still has room to grow, too. That's the great thing here. That's why I love his ability to roll out and throw on the run very accurately, too. I mentioned before, we could see a little bit of struggle here and there just because coming off the injury and still young. But at the end of the day, he's going to get better, and he's already obviously was up for the MVP. So 6 is where I put him for now. Obviously, we would like to see a little more after the injury, but there's no doubt he's going to be back. He's going to be good. Perfect fit for that offense, too. At number 5, we're finally on this top 5 here. Very interesting to see who comes in at 5. It's Matt Ryan, the quarterback from the Falcons. Won MVP just 2 years ago. Excellent season. Definitely think he was deserving that MVP. I think he can do it again, honestly. He wouldn't be my pick for the MVP, but Obviously, he has some good running backs, some good targets. Julio Jones over there. They could use more receivers. They got Calvin Ridley in there now, so that's going to help more. But obviously, a very good quarterback. We're really starting to get into the for sure elite bunch. I know Wentz can join that. Cam Newton's considered elite at times. But the for sure elite group, I would say, is the top 5 here. At number 4, I got Drew Brees. I almost put him at 5, honestly. I almost put Matt Ryan ahead of him because is Brees going to go on a decline? He's still playing at a ridiculous level, elite level. So if he does decline a little bit because of age, you're really not going to notice it too much. And he's got the front office has done a good job. They got Kamara in there. They got Michael Thomas is only going to get better. So he's got his help here. We'll see if he has another great season, excellent year last year. So he comes in at 4. We're on to the top 3. Number 3. Honestly, I think number 3 could be the best player in all of football. Like if the NFL started over and I had the first overall pick, I would probably take this guy. But coming in at number 3 and not number 1 is because maybe the talent around him isn't quite there. But at number 3, I got Russell Wilson. I really think he could be the best player in football. Just a ridiculous quarterback. I mean, he's a run-second quarterback, and he runs very well, too. So super accurate, can throw on the run. He's just a very clutch player, bottom line. And I think he hasn't had an offensive line. For him to do what he's done in his entire career and still have a lot left to go, he's never had a good offensive line, bottom line. And, I mean, his targets, they've been pretty good here and there, but not like some of these other guys. So he comes in at number 3, but I do think very highly of Russell Wilson. And now the obvious top 2 is between Rodgers and Brady. You guys voted Rodgers the best quarterback in the NFL. But I got Rodgers at 2. And it's very close. Obviously, elite is not saying enough. Another one of those guys. I love when quarterbacks are able to throw on the run as good as Rodgers. He's like the example. Like we talk about Wentz. Doing it at a high level, you want him to get to where Rodgers is. You see flashes, but and very, very good at escaping the pressure, Rodgers. That's what's very impressive. But coming off that injury, my money is on him being back to normal. But maybe that's why I was hesitating to put him at 1. Still in contract talks too. Obviously, he's going to play even if he doesn't get the contract. But I'm trying to split things up to split up 1 and 2 basically. And I still got Brady at 1. I think he's one for at least one more year here. I think he's the best quarterback in football. Obviously, the offense is run for him. It's very good around him. But, I mean, it could be better, honestly. Get guys hurt. Edelman's hurt last year, and now we're hearing he's suspended for the 4 games this year. So I guess there's quarterbacks with better weapons than him. But I view Brady as number 1 for another year or 2. Then it's Rodgers as long as he's healthy. So we will see. Unless Russell Wilson gets the weapons he deserves, then he could be 1. So interesting debate. Let me know you guys' top 10. But we're on the Danny Provolones. Different perspective. Maybe you don't agree with mine. Again, other guys I was considering. Jared Goff I actually left out. I want to see more of him. Excellent year if it's based off last year. He gets in here. Stafford. I actually could compare Stafford and Cousins. Very, very, very similar in career stats. Very similar quarterbacks, I think, too. Just the difference is Kirk Cousins going to a new team, a better team than he's ever been on, a very good team, and them being very similar. I gave Kirk Cousins the edge. And Stafford really hasn't, I hate saying it, but he hasn't really been a winner that much, so I'd like to see him win more. I know 2 years ago they made the playoffs finally, so I think they can get back there. It's just really on him. So we will see. Another guy I think could sneak in here, Marcus Mariota. I think they're building their offense around him. So I think he'll take a huge step up. He can do a lot on the ground as well. Andrew Luck, if he stays healthy, definitely belongs in here. We just got to kind of wait and see. But on to Danny Provolone's top 10. Let's start with 10 through 7. 10, he has Deshaun Watson in there. I'm a huge fan of Deshaun Watson. I just couldn't put him in there yet because I need to see more, and he's coming off the injury, and their offensive line is looking pretty terrible this year, so as it was last year. So I kind of need to see more with that team, but I am a huge fan. Obviously, if you watched us during the draft last year, I'm a huge fan of Deshaun Watson. Number 9, he has Stafford. So here's 3 in a row that he has that I do not have in there. I'm not really going to argue with it because Stafford and Goff definitely can go in here, and I'm not really going to argue with it. So yeah, Stafford at 9, Goff at 8. Goff needs to have a same or a better season for him to be top 10, in my opinion. And then 7, he's got Russell Wilson. I had Wilson at 3. He's got him at 7. Obviously, there could be some struggle because I don't know what they're doing over there in Seattle. I don't know really what's around them. They got Rashad Penny coming in at running back. Maybe not the best receiving unit. Terrible offensive line. So this is realistic just because it's going to be hard for him. He's got a hard job. Maybe the hardest in football. So let's see 6 through 3 now. He's got Wentz at 6. I think that's exactly where I had him. Yes, so that's not much to talk about there. 5, he has Big Ben. See, I had Big Ben around 9, so he has him at 5. Obviously still playing at a high level, but I want to see more consistency out of him. Then 4, he has Matt Ryan. I had him at 5, and so I'm agree with that. 3, he has Breeze. And then we have 2 and 1 left here. Who is it going to be? Brady at 2 and Rodgers at 1. So he agrees with the fans. He agrees with you guys out there. Rodgers number 1 quarterback. It's just really, for me, I want to see him play more after the injury. He came back that one game, but he was still hurt. It was a terrible game, but it was kind of just getting thrown in there when it wasn't really a good season. So I'm not going to really use that. But it kind of does stick with me, you know. So we want to see him back on top here. We want to see him play again for me to put him at 1. But it's definitely, there's a clear 1 and 2. And if you put them either way, I'm really not going to argue with them. I just had to just find reasons to split them up, basically. So there you have it. Mine and Danny's top 10 quarterback rankings. So Danny left out a couple guys there. I wonder which one of us is going to take more heat here. I left out Stafford and Goff. I had Big Ben pretty low. I had Rodgers at 2, Brady at 1. He had the opposite. He left out Newton, Rivers. Somebody else there I'm missing. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Who gets bashed more, me or Danny? But we'll keep on doing this. Both me and Danny will have our rankings for each position group, so stick with us. Go to our Twitter, frogs_angels, to vote for the best player at each position. It'll be showed just like this one in every video. So, yeah, our goal, it's 10K subscribers, so please help us get there. If you already subscribed, we much appreciate. And keep on watching. Thanks for being here. That'll do it. Goodbye.